In this video, we will learn about how to get list of tasks from the Firebase database. So as we created in the previous video, some of the tasks which is listing down in the Firebase database. As you can see, the task which is parent node, if I click on it, it will expand and will have two different children. If I expand one of the children, it will have a list of data like key video pairs data existing in these nodes. So in order to get this, let's jump to the UI coding. First we will build the UI interface, then we will set up the repository and callbacks through the view model and will observe from the live data. So currently I am making change in the XML file. Now as the UI is ready, we need an adapter for the recycle view to show the list of tasks which is coming from the Firebase database. So I just copy the image listing adapter and paste it, then rename it task listing adapter. There I will change the URI to the task because we are using task listing adapter. Let's just import the class and remove the unnecessary code. Now we need another more thing. For this we need a separate layout file to attach with the task listing adapter. So what I will do is to copy the image layout and paste it as a task layout. Then I will do the necessary changes in the coding. As the task layout is ready, so I am just replacing with the task layout binding, and there I will set the description as well and also the delete listener as well in the adapter. So we will be ready with the adapter by setting up for the recycle view. So I just attach the layout manager and also the adapter as well. So we are pretty much good with the recycle view. Now the next step is to have a view model instance in the fragment. So in order to get the task from the view model through the repository, so what I will do is to copy the view model instance from another fragment, which is create task fragment. So I will copy these two lines from this fragment and then will paste it in the task listing fragment. And why we need that? So the auth view model will give us the user object which will require the user ID, and then we will pass that to another function which will be existing inside the view model. In that case, if you notice, I am calling get session. It gave us a user object. So I am calling a function which is called getTask. It requires the user object, and also I have created a live data as well. It will observe the list of tasks and will pass there to the fragment. So that is pretty much regarding to the function and the live data. Then I created a function inside the task repository that will implement in the task repository implementation. Now inside the getTask function, if you notice, we have database reference child referring to the task, then order by child which is user ID and equal to the user ID. So what we will be doing, like getting task based on the user ID. So the user get its own task, not the other user task. Then on success listener, I am doing for each loop like to get each task from the children, and then what I will do is to create a list of tasks, and then I will convert that. First I rename to task to the item, so that is make a bit confusion. Let's just rename it the item. Now the item will convert to the object task. So what we'll do is from each children we get from this loop will converting to the task, then we will be adding to the task array list. So with the help of get function, I will just call the task class.java. So that will actually convert the item into the task. In that case, we get the task object. Now let's just add it to the task list. So that is how we will be getting the task list. Currently it gave us a nullable like our object. So for this case I will make the list as a nullable to remove the error. Now the error is gone. So what I will do is like to invoke the function like the lambda function which we have in the parameter result dot invoke. In that case UI state dot success task dot filter not null. So it will pass a list of objects which will have not include any of the null object. Now the next step is to observe their data in the fragment. As soon as we get their data from the Firebase database, it will pass this to the view model, and through the view model we will set that value to the observer. So I will just copy the observer function from the task listing fragment and will paste it inside the task listing fragment. In that case we are missing the progress bar. So let's just copy the progress bar as well from their XML file as well. So I will go to the XML file of that fragment, and there I copy and will paste it in our own XML file which is called task listing for XML. So in that case the error will gone. Let's just copy and paste it there. So yeah, we fix that error as well. As soon as we get the list of data from the task live data, we will set that data to the adapter, and the adapter will let us know like the data coming from the Firebase or not. Let's just run the application to see if it's working or not. The emulator is running right now, so I will just switch to the task. In that case we face a crash. Let's just check out what is the crash and why it's causing. It seems like we are using Auth model which is using hilt. In that case we did not annotate it with that fragment Android entry point. So that was the reason which caused the crash. This time as I run the application I actually face an error which is telling us about index on. So the reason was that any of the value you are getting from the task you first need to create an index in the rules. I just retried to make sure that it's working fine, but seems like nothing is not working. That because to get the records from any of the node with the help of any key we need index. So what I just did to go to the Firebase console, and there I created an index for it. If you see the index task index on user ID. So let me just put that there as well in order to show you like exactly. So in the database we are getting all the childrens with the help of user ID. That's why it required index on user ID. So in that case user ID is also existing in that packet. So for that reason whenever we try to get the ID or get the data with the order by with the ID or with any of the field we need to create an index. Now in the end I just modified the design a little bit. I use material card view and also with the two extra attributes like the card radius and the stroke color. So in that case the UI a bit more look more good. So that is pretty much regarding to the updation of UI. And also I use margin as well like 8dp like to have a little space between the tab layout and the recycle view between them. Now I guess the UI looks fine.